Listen now at 1080thefan.com.
What's the most resilient parasite?
Primetime with Isaac and Suke.
Can build cities, can transform the world, and rewrite all the rules.
That's what I'll be doing every single night.
Which is why
No!
I have to steal it.
What are you talking about, Willis?
This is Primetime with Isaac and Suke.
It's gonna work. It's passable, okay? This isn't terrible.
The best in local, regional, and national sports.
With no hidden agenda.
Primetime with Isaac and Suke on 1080 The Fan.
All right. Welcome back. Nice to have you along.
A lot of people saying Sacred Heart has diarrhea.
That's right, they are.
Okay, we apologize.
The Tampa Bay Rays are the other team that's about to sell.
Yes.
So we talked about the Lakers last hour. They're about to sell. And now the Rays.
Not for $10 billion.
No, they're saying $1.7 billion valuation.
Well, they don't have a stadium. Literally, the other one fell apart during a hurricane.
Yeah.
They're playing in a minor league field right now. There was a deal in place to build a new one in Tampa, St. Pete, but then the current owners said no, they're pulling out of that. So, I mean, you're getting a team with a sketchy fan base and no plans for a ballpark.
And you know what? They're pretty good this year.
Yes.
Have you noticed that?
Hey, they just got done kicking the hell out of the Mets for 3 in a row.
The Rays are actually a good little club.
Well, and for all the Rays' struggles, I mean, the Rays have been a good team.
Yeah, they have a good management team, obviously. But
It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular.
Stu Sternberg is their owner, and they say he is in advanced talks to sell the franchise to a group led by Florida-based residential developer by the name of Patrick Zalupski. He's a home builder.
Yes.
God.
Patty Z.
Should have built homes for a living.
Dude, there's some dudes that are building homes that are doing just fine.
He's from Jacksonville.
Feast or famine. I don't know anything about him. I'm assuming it's not just him. I'm assuming he's got some groups with him.
He is the lead buyer.
Yeah.
He already has executed a letter of intent to purchase the team. And Sternberg bought the Rays in 2004 for a mere $200 million.
Yes. And I guess this dude, despite having a horrid comb over, he is the CEO of Dream Finders Homes, and he is a billionaire himself.
So it was kind of weird
but he's not, like, he's only worth, I mean, this is going to sound funny, but like, he's only worth $1.4 billion. So he'll have other money with him, but you know, some of these teams now are so expensive that individuals can't buy them. There has to be groups involved.
So when Sternberg, so he owned the Rays, and he was really pissed about the stadium situation.
Yeah.
But they were winning a bunch of games, but no one was going. And so he threatened to move him to Montreal.
Yeah.
And then, because he's got a buddy in Montreal. And then they, all of a sudden, after all these, sort of stories about, we'll put the ballpark here or build him a new ballpark there, they ended up, the Rays situation is so weird because they ended up agreeing on a site where the current stadium is.
Yes.
Which makes no sense because they're saying, I don't know Tampa, St. Pete like you do, but it's over in the St. Pete part, and they're saying that's the problem. It needs to be over in the Tampa part where all the people are.
So there's a problem because when you have games that start when normal sports games too, traffic in that area to get over there, you can have an hour and a half commute easy. I mean, it's just it's brutal to get over there, and so supposedly that is one of the issues that it's not a great area for baseball. It's a horrible stadium with the worst aesthetics I've been to this side of the Oakland Coliseum, and then you put it in the world's worst situation. So if you've got a team that you're not really stoked about, you're playing in a concrete dome, think like the old King Dome, and someone told you that it was after work, it was going to take you an hour and 20 minutes to get there and an hour and 20 minutes to get back over the bridge, would you be real geeked to go into those games?
No, I just don't understand why they then decided to put the new one
right
there.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Nope.
So then here comes Hurricane Milton. It rips the roof off, and the owner says after that, he says, this is going to delay the start of the new ballpark because they have to refurbish the Trop.
Yep.
And so therefore I am backing out of this deal because the cost overruns are going to be too expensive. It's going to be too expensive.
Yes.
And then Major League Baseball came in and said, okay, a-hole, you're selling the team.
Yeah.
And I mean, Major League Baseball has that kind of Like if they want an owner out, they can get an owner out, and it sounds like they have forced him to sell.
Yeah.
And that's where we are. It's just the whole situation has been so strange.
So I'm assuming that when you're buying the Rays for whatever $1.7 billion, this guy and his group, he comes in. I'm assuming that you're buying that with the idea of you already have the ballpark figured out, or at least a rough idea. I doubt someone's buying this and then Major League Baseball is going to allow them to be sold to these guys with no plan for a stadium. They have to have a stadium situation agree to when they buy this team.
Which is, I think, exactly why Major League Baseball would want him to sell, and perhaps to this group.
Yes.
So,
and he's a construction guy, he's a home
Right.
builder. I mean, maybe there's a connection there that he understands us a little better. He can figure it out. I'm with you that if getting across to the peninsula, because it sits on a peninsula and there's just, you have to take bridges. Imagine you're you're crossing the old Willamette and everyone has to go over the 405 bridge to get to the baseball stadium during rush hour. I mean, that's what you're dealing with. So, you would think that you would be smart enough to put it elsewhere, but maybe there isn't a good option down there. Don't know.
I was looking at the Rays' history. They have actually been really good.
Yes.
If you go all the way back to when they lost in the World Series in 2008, they've been in the playoffs more often than not. And they've technically had 8. Well, okay, they haven't. They had 1 year. Last year, they went 80 and 82. So they were almost 500.
Almost.
If you throw that out, they have had, or if you count that, they have had a winning season in 7 of the last 8 years. That's the only time. So they had 7 straight winning seasons before that season. 1 year they won 100 games, and they went to a World Series.
Yeah.
The year before, in the COVID year.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I do. So
they lost to the Dodgers.
It's not a problem, and they don't have deep pockets, and they have no fan support. So it's a
good franchise.
In theory, you could have a sleeping giant there if someone were to come in, build a real ballpark that people could get to, that people were excited about, and they spend a little money on the team. And more importantly for Portland, if the A's get settled in Vegas, which I assume is happening at some point, and the Rays sell, and this bro has hey, I'm getting a stadium, like we're back at the table where they agree to a stadium, then expansion can happen. And then at that point, we find out whether or not we lost to Salt Lake. But the sooner you get the A's and the Rays figured out, we can get Major League Baseball to move on expansion, which is your only chance here in Portland.
Yeah, somebody said the comp to Trop Field from Tampa would be if Portland Stadium was on Government Island.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a little peninsula, and the only way to get there is by bridges. And even without stadium traffic, if you've ever tried to get into St. Pete during rush hour, it is a effing nightmare. And then you throw in that stadium traffic going to there, I'm telling you, it is the worst located stadium. And by the way, mass transit just isn't a thing to get in and out of there. It's the worst possible situation. So I'm with you. When they said that they were going to build in the same spot, I just sat there and was like, what?
None of that made any sense.
Why would you do that?
What if the Major League Baseball to Portland group put a stadium on Government Island and you had to swim to the games?
Get a little canoe.
Would you swim to the games?
No, I would not.
What if they were free?
No, I would not.
If they were
Really?
free, how many people would swim to games?
No, I'm not swimming to a game.
I mean, it's not that far over there.
Yeah, right until you get a cramp and you go down and the water's ice cold.
They'll have people out there. The Coast Guard will be out there.
No, can I get a little Daffy Duck raft that I can paddle over there? If you give me a little dinghy or something, I'm not swimming.
You get yourself to
No.
the ballpark, you get in.
Yep,
Yeah,
you
I'm
got to
not-
swim.
I'm not swimming.
Get
No.
your little wetsuit.
No, I'm
I
not
think
doing
I
that.
would.
No, you would.
Yes.
You would not.
Oh,
Yeah.
you would not.
I'd be there every night.
You're such a lying piece of turd.
Free. God, you are a real jerk. You know that?
When's the last time you swam? Thank you.
And
Oh,
you're
that
someone
doesn't
who does not do well with inconvenience, it feels like. And just the whole idea of putting on a wetsuit, going across the river, then being wet and needing to get into dry clothes and going to a baseball game,
Bro,
I don't see that being rock
It's free. It's not, but it's free baseball. I can go to any game. I just got to swim
You'd pay
over there?
$30 to not have to do that.
Well, I would do that, but can I still go to the game?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're telling me that I don't have to swim, but it's $30 a game. That changes the whole scenario.
Well, yeah.
Of course, I'd pay the $30, but I'm saying the
If that
scenario
was your
is
only option?
yes.
Oh, okay.
The only way to get to the game is to swim. If you swim, It's free.
So you do it once every 5 years or so?
I'd go to every game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Get a little condo up on the water up there in Stumptown.
No, you wouldn't.
Or up here.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
By the way, someone said they were in Vegas just a little bit ago, and they had started construction. Is that true? Or,
Yeah, they started.
So shovels in the ground.
Well, I knew they demolished the Trop, but I didn't know.
No. For
Yeah,
the
they
A's.
have started.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Okay.
I read that a while ago.
So the A's.
I don't know. There seems to be this. I don't know why people keep saying this, but there seems to be this notion that the A's were still in flux. They're not. They're moving to Las Vegas. They're building that stadium.
Everything I've read is that they were on track to put shoveling ground in June, but I have not read anything that they've actually started construction.
Yeah, I thought I read they started, but
Okay.
And I'm gonna probably be wrong. But I
Well,
would swim to the stadium
In theory,
on Government Island.
this could settle the Rays. If the A's are settled, then within a year or so, we should be able to hear yay or nay on Major League Baseball to Portland. You know, we just passed the $800 million tax package. Did you know, though, that the Salt Lake Group has already started building the entertainment district?
Yeah, I think we're screwed.
Yeah,
We're screwed.
they're going to build out their entire jump town and then just leave the ballpark at one end and just wait and basically tell Major League Baseball, you say yes, and the shovel's in the ground tomorrow.
We're ready when you're ready.
Yep. So that's going to be that's tough. That's tough to beat.
Someone asks, what if the stadium was on Government Island and the homeless operated the tire boat ferry system?
Let's go
to see the game.
Yeah, I'd do that.
You okay with that?
Yeah, dude. The homeless are, they're a resourceful group. They'll figure it out. Give them some hobo chili and some possum teeth. You get yourself over there to the game. Let's go.
Latest on the A's park. While an official groundbreaking ceremony is scheduled for June 23rd, early site work, including foundation work, started in May.
Okay.
And the A's, so construction on the park has begun.
All right. There you go.
And the A's plan to play in Las Vegas starting in 2028.
Okay. So we're good from the A's.
Or bad, depending on how you look at it.
Well, I'm just saying that one is settled.
Yeah. And it has been. I don't know
There's always
why.
like that. I don't know.
There's always just rumors
there's
and
rumor.
people just
Like, oh,
run
could-
with it.
could
And
fall apart.
there's nothing to it. They've always been moving to Vegas.